Well, we've got two really interesting social aspects of entrepreneurship this morning. First, we've got Sesha Woodard. Sesha, stand up, please. Sesha is a pioneer in the whole area of STEM combined with arts. So social entrepreneurship with a mission. So, Sesha?
Thank you, Terry. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right, good. I've been told here. All right, very good. Well, I just want to take a moment just to thank everyone for coming today and thank 1 Million Cups for having me. I'm super excited to be here to share with you Dropping Seeds in Motion. Just to give you a little background about me, grew up in Philadelphia and I moved to North Carolina to go to school and studied science. And so I became a scientist. As a kid, I always loved science. I used to collect rocks as a kid, and I was always intrigued by just science all around me. So I went to school and I got my degree in science in laboratory animal science, and I worked as a scientist in the industry for several years. I've worked at several different pharmaceutical companies, working quality assurance, and as a kid, I also always danced. I loved the arts. I loved taking dance classes, ballet, tap, jazz, modern, everything. So what I decided to do, it was laid in my heart to start a company to help engage the next generation in learning about science and those interrelated disciplines like technology, engineering, and math as well, because as you all know, they are all intertwined. So just give you a little bit of background about me. I'm the CEO of the company. I own the company. I'm a scientist, licensed dancer, and also you'll see on there, action-based learning professional. When I tell people what I do, they kind of look at me funny, like, what is that? Action-based learning, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but action-based learning is a brain-based theory that pretty much says if you're moving while you're learning, you can retain the information a little bit better. So just hold on to that seed that I dropped on you, and hopefully you get a better understanding of what we do at Dropping Seeds in Motion. Okay. So as I mentioned, we integrate dance, movement, and action-based learning to engage kids in science. So hopefully they'll have an interest in pursuing a career in STEM. And what we do is we offer programs and workshops and after-school programs and classroom lessons. So if there's a teacher who wants to integrate some kind of movement concept with their children that they're teaching, we can do that as well. And in residency programs, currently I'm working with a daycare center and I'm catering the curriculum to the content that they're learning. So they are being introduced to STEM even at 3 years old, and they absolutely love it. The brain-body connection is such a critical connection. And if anybody in here are scientists or are familiar with the brain-body connection, it is a critical aspect in education. Current research shows that regular physical activity helps children and teenagers perform better in school. So this is like beyond gym class. This is like integrating movement in school. Action-based learning was developed by Dr. Jean Blades-Muncy, and the concepts are based on brain research that support the link of movement to learning. There's research that says that children retain what they learn better if they're moving, they can retrieve it better, and they just have fun. Brain research suggests when physical activity is combined with cognitive tasks, the brain increases focus and attention. There has been research that has shown that when you are including movement with learning, the kids are more focused, they're in a better mood, and they have decreased behavior problems. So I'll share with you, recently I was at Fayetteville State University at their summer camp, and a lot of the students would come we were in the gym, they would come into the gym, and they just looked like they didn't have any energy. But with just a little pumping up and a little interactive physical activity, I use a lot of action-based learning equipment as well, their moods were just completely changed. That increase of those good hormones that go to the brain is just phenomenal. Additionally, there's a lot of research out there that talks about movement and learning. During moments of music euphoria, blood travels through the brain to areas where the stimuli can produce feelings of contentment and joy, and travels away from the brain cell areas associated with depression and fear. So dropping seeds in motion is not only just helping kids get excited about learning science and other related fields. It's actually helping them, can help with them, their mood and combat depression and even obesity. Children with poor motor performance at school entry were found to have poorer reading and math skills than their better performing peers on the first 3 years of school, okay? So what this means is that if children are not moving, if they're sitting in front of the television, if they're on their tablets, there is more likelihood that they will have poor reading and math skills. And this is just at school entry. A child's early motor function is related to the process of language acquirement, basic academic skills, and overall performance. So developing a physically active learning environment, including incorporating movement with learning, as I mentioned, has several benefits. It improves attention, improves the mood of the students, it improves the classroom behavior, keeps children on task, and it also builds social skills. I mentioned that I was at Fayetteville State not too long ago, and one of the camp counselors shared with me that he was very, very thankful that we actually engaged the students. We're living in a time where technology is great. However, there has to be that social interaction. We were in a global society. So one of the things that the counselor shared with me was that they really appreciate how we engage the students. Like these students right here, I did a workshop on polymers. We're talking about chemistry here. They had to work together. They were actually had to use that tool to push the balloon down to the other end. So it helped with their communication, it helped with collaboration, help with creativity. It increases those 21st century learning skills that they need to do great things in the world. Also, research shows that physically active academic lessons of moderate intensity improve overall performance on standardized tests of academic performance and achievement. All right, so what I have here is a slide from the government website, ed.gov. And there's a statistic or a stat from the U.S. Bureau of Labor. It says that employment and occupations related to STEM is projected to grow to more than 9 million between 2012 and 2020. How many of you know that if children are not pursuing these STEM careers, that there is going to be a lack in the industry, okay? Right. So let's see, the 62% is the biomedical engineering one. And we have system software developers, computer system analysts, mathematics. So we have to try to help meet this need. And the need is to get these children and our youth interested in pursuing these careers. Well, some kids aren't really interested in STEM for whatever reason, but I'll talk a little bit about that later. In 2017, the president issued a memorandum. And it indicated, today, too many of our nation's K-12 and post-secondary students lack access to high-quality STEM education and thus are at risk of being shut out of some of the most attractive job options in the growing United States economy. So high-quality STEM education is important. The North Carolina standards for science indicates what each student in each grade needs to know. And so what we do at Dropping Seeds in Motion is we cater the specific content and concepts related to the North Carolina standards. Also in reference to the presidential memorandum, it indicated that too few schools across the country are able to provide students with high quality education and training in STEM. And this may be related to a number of different reasons. It may be related to a lack of resources, it may be related to funding, and that's where there may be opportunities for you to help in that realm of support. Women, minorities, and students in rural communities often have even lower participation in STEM education and will benefit from the efforts that this memorandum sets in motion. So this is a governmental initiative to help increase the interest for students to pursue STEM careers. Right. So what I have here is a roadmap of need produced by the North Carolina Public School Forum. A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to present in Edgecombe County, which is one of the lowest performing counties in North Carolina. I presented on it was a policy and practice initiative, and I served as one of the STEM experts. And what this shows, based upon the data that they collected, is they're showing that there's like two different North Carolinas, two separate North Carolinas. The one on the east is based upon the health, youth behavior, safety, education, economic development. The one on the east, the darker blues, is the one that needs a little bit more help when it comes to these areas. So there's a need out here, and we know that we can't just teach just the child the content. The child has to be well in so many different ways on so many different levels. Okay. So I talked about why are they not pursuing STEM careers? After a lot of conversations with teachers and educators, a lot of them have shared with me that they think it's too hard and too challenging, or they think it's boring. Well, that's where Dropping Seeds in Motion comes into play. We make it fun. We use interactive music, we use action-based learning concepts, we use that brain-body connection to make it fun. So the kids, they love engaging in science through movement and learning. And as I mentioned, I work with little kids in the daycare center, and they just get super, super excited about learning the content. This is a slide I'll share with you. I was teaching them about crystallization. And so using the whole brain, the whole body, fabric, colors, arts, they can see how different processes in science work.
What's happening in the middle slide there?
In the middle one? So in the middle, we...
Hostage situation.
I'm glad you asked that because somebody might have thought the same thing. No, so I was teaching them the procedure of crystallization, like preparing a skewer with sugar. So, and to help them remember the steps in the process, that's what we were doing there.
Sure.
Whatever you say.
So, also a part of the arts, back in the day, children used to jump rope outside. We were learning about the atom, and I had a number of different activities that I worked with the kids with this particular activity. We were learning about the atom. She's actually jumping in the atom, and I asked them questions about the atom as they were jumping. It's just fun. They engage, they learn, they retain the information. What you see on your very right is them using their creative gifts and the creative part of their brain to actually create an atom. Electrons, neutrons, protons, they did all that, and it was fun. That's a marshmallow in the middle there. I have a quick parent video that I'll show you. It's about 30 seconds. And this is from a parent of one of the students that participated in my summer camp this past June rather. Click on it, just click on the link, yeah.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Allison, and I have a fourth grader who is attending the summer camp. Yesterday, she talked non-stop after I picked her up about how much fun she had, what she had learned regarding science. And this is a young lady who absolutely hated science, thought science was so boring. But after attending the summer camp with Ms. Woodard, she is super excited, was super excited about returning today. So I advise any parent, please send your kid to the summer camp because it is absolutely awesome. And you may need earplugs afterwards because your child probably won't stop talking.
True.
All right, I have a few minutes here, so I just wanted to share that with you, parent testimony. Okay, so here are some references that I'll share with you if you wanted more information about the brain-body connection. Spark, Ready, Set, Go, the Connected Classroom. And on my website, I do have a link to the association between school-based physical activity, including physical education, and academic performance. So you can look, that's produced from the CDC, so you can actually look at that as well. I've worked with a couple different organizations and continue to develop partnerships, especially in the community, I reside in Granville County, so I partner with the city of Creedmoor, and they are looking to bring some STEM activities to their organization. And so my ask today would be, I'll share with you the goal. The issue is getting kids excited about STEM and pursuing these careers in STEM so we can fill these jobs that we're going to lack here in the United States. So let's get them excited. When we do a Dropping Seeds in Motion, we engage them in learning through movement and dance and creative ways to get their brain-body connection going. So I will be more than happy to speak with you afterwards if you wanted more information about what we do or if you wanted to partner. Like I said, I live in Granville County, which is very, very close to Warren County and Vance County, which Vance is actually one of the lower performing counties as well. So there's a big need in the area where I am. And if you wanted more information and wanted to stay connected, I do have a email sign in up there and some more information for you to take with you right where Terry is.
Thank you, Sesha.
Thank you.
Any questions? Questions for Sesha?
Yeah, question.
Okay.
Why don't you
I'll
give
take
her
this
the
one.
mic? Terry, she needs the mic.
Okay, the question is this. Let's go back to an earlier generation, say the 1960s, and suppose we compare country kids with city kids. The country kids would be out there where they'd have lots of space to do things like playing, football, basketball, baseball, anything that you have a lot of motion. In the city, if you're in a place like, Brooklyn or Queens or someplace like that where there's not a lot of parks even, the kids would probably get really good teachers and education and highly financed schools. Was there ever any studies comparing the activity of the children in the country with the advantages, intellectual advantages of the kids in the city, and comparing how they differed or if they were doing the same or how they scored on the test scores and such?
So as far as me being able to give you any studies specifically off my head, I'm sure there are studies that have been done in reference to that, what you're asking. I think about when I was in Edgecombe County, and one of the things that the executive director mentioned was in reference to that roadmap of need. Even within those counties where they do have access to high quality teachers, high quality education, there still may be pockets of zip codes where there is a lack. I know there has been a recent push for teachers to focus in on science. They're looking for science teachers like crazy, those that are working in the field. There are a lot of programs out there that are focused on getting high quality teachers in those areas where there is more of a greater need. So there are, I imagine there's a lot of research based reference to what you said, because there's a big focus on getting high quality teachers in those areas where there is a great need.
Thank you. Question over here.
Can you give us some examples of the type of partnerships that you're looking for?
So, thank you. Yes, one of the things that I mentioned is that my passion and my heart is to help all children. However, I really want to focus on those children who may not have access, may never ever think about being a scientist or a technologist or engineer or a mathematician. One, because they've never been exposed to one, or two, because they think science is too hard. And so one of the things that I want to do is expose them, continue to do, is expose them to those fields and show them that it is fun to learn about it, and to help them see the issues that help them see that they can actually help solve issues in the world themselves by getting them to think. So in reference to the partnerships, like I mentioned, I'm in that county, and there's a need for resources, for our financial resources. Like I said, I mentioned I run a summer camp every summer, and some parents just can't afford to take their children. So being able to maybe serve as a sponsor for children, or maybe have a program within the county. Like I mentioned, I partner with the city of Creedmoor. So partnering with you to help bring that to the community.
There was another question over here.
Really quickly, we have a live question that came in. It says, is there a plan to make money from this?
Yes, I do. I do charge for the workshops, and the workshops are based upon, I have it all on my website, based upon usually 30 to 60 minute sessions. So yes, I do charge per workshop.
Question in the middle right here.
So it sounds like you work with the younger kids. I assume that this is a process of learning that would apply to middle school, high school, and even learning in the workplace. Is that true?
Yes, so I work with pre-K through high school.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes.
And what about, would it apply in the workplace for learning if you're teaching or doing a workshop in the workplace?
Yes, it would.
I realize you're not doing that, but.
So what I have done is educated parents and educated educators. So last month I was in Edgecombe County educating the teachers and sharing with them the things that they can actually do and implement action-based learning in arts and dance within the children that they work with. And a lot of them were actually after-school program directors just looking for ways to get their students excited about STEM.
Final question is right here.
Yes, nice presentation. A couple questions on it. Are you looking also for, I'm sure you are, grant funding and foundation funding for
Yes.
the programs?
Absolutely.
On that.
Any way we can spread the excitement about learning about STEM for youth, absolutely.
And have you thought, or are you doing it now, spreading across state lines in other states, train trainers?
Yes. Yes, in fact, I partner with Action-Based Learning. Past 2 years, I've had Action-Based Learning training, and so I partner with them. They're out of South Carolina, and I'm looking at also educating the educators, educating the teachers that they educate as well from the STEM perspective, from science, technology, engineering.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a gift, small gift for you to say thank you for presenting today. And great job. Thank you very much. As you see, some of our committee is not here today. I think they're watching online, and if I did not go through our sponsor list, I think Josh in the back would physically hurt me. So all you guys know, Casey normally does this, so he says sign into the app. If you guys have downloaded the 1 Million Cups app, I can feel Casey